Okay, so ma'am and Avni, I am Ritesh. I look after the international department at Pratham. So I have been told, Avni, that you're looking at your master's in architecture, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And preferably your choice is Australia, if I'm not wrong, as a country choice.
Yes.
Great, great. So just wanted to know a few things before we go ahead. One thing that where did you do your bachelor's in architecture from?
University College Dublin in Ireland.
Okay, so you were at UCD, Dublin. And what were the scores that you ended in?
3.68 out of a 4.2 scale.
Wonderful. Great. So, as you know, that Australian universities, they majorly require a portfolio for your admissions. They do not require a GRE score, which is the case in United States. So that is one. Secondly, they also require an IELTS score. But in your case, as you've studied your last course in a country which speaks English, so preferably that requirement will also move out. Secondly, they would require your transcript. Okay. And apart from that, a few essays here and there. Okay? So I've checked in with 3 or 4 institutions which are top notch, like for example, UTS Sydney or say University of Adelaide and University of Monash. So the average duration of the program is in between 1.5 years and it can extend up to 3 years as well. So there are certain programs which are amalgamated programs. That means they would have Master of Architecture plus Master of Landscaping also. As a combination program, that might take 3 years, but majorly most of the programs are 2 years, except for 1 or 2, which is 1.5. Okay. So that is things that I have seen as of now. I can show you a screen. Just give me a moment. Yeah, I believe now you can see this.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So QS rank wise, University of Sydney seems to be very high. It is 31. UTS and Monash are at 51 to 100, 100 to 150. This is subject ranking. This is not university ranking. Because if I look at university ranking, then Monash is at 41. Okay. So duration, you can see the tuition fees here is in Australian dollars. But then when I talk about the cost of attendance, I have converted that uh, in Indian currency, keeping in mind your living cost as well as your tuition fees per year. So this is the cost that is per year. And the deadlines also are visible in some places. University of Adelaide is not mentioning any deadline as of now. They're saying send your applications ASAP. But 25th June and 30th April are already deadlines mentioned by the Sydney universities, UTS Sydney as well as University of Sydney. Okay. So these are some, basic information, obviously. Now, if you require anything in particular, you can tell us, or if you have any other further queries, I can answer
Yeah. I was wondering, are there like any other good universities like apart from Australia that I could target?
that. Sure, I mean, you can target the entire world. But tell me one thing, what was the total duration of your course at UCD?
3 years. So like they had different degree programs. They had a 3-year degree, a 4-year degree, and a 5-year degree. So I opted for the 3-year degree, and like I needed 2 years master's to get validated as an architect anywhere.
Hmm. And what was the total? Was there a credit ranking system also in UCD?
Like they had an NFQ level. Like my degree was NFQ level 8.
Okay. Because normally what happens is, in most of the countries, there is a total number of credits or ECTS. So if you look at European universities, they have round about say 180 odd credit system. And if you
Yeah,
look
we
at
had that
US,
as well.
right? So in comparison to that, where do we stand?
It was 180 credits, 60 credits per year.
Wonderful. So if it's 180 credits, then I believe that most of the US universities also will be open for us. We should not face any, hurdles there, as well as universities in other parts of Europe are also open. So technically speaking, if you look at countries worldwide, my way of looking at things is that what is the final objective? If the final objective is to settle down in a country, then we can think from that perspective. If the final objective is to work for a few years and then probably come back to India or go to some other country, then it could be very, very different. So, what is your objective exactly?
My objective is not that clear at the minute, to be honest.
So, you would like to keep it open, is it?
Yeah, it's kind of open. Like I would like to work for a few years in the country, but I'm not sure if I would like stay there indefinitely or I would come back.
So, in that perspective, as as the course is architecture, it's a STEM course in United States, wherein you get a 3-year job search visa post completion of your program. And it's a high demand, course in United States, Canada, Australia, as well as in Europe. So I believe the next parameter could be the budgetary issues and the scholarships related to it. So in terms of scholarships, I believe that Australia is not lagging behind. It has tremendous amount of scholarships for international students. Uh, both University of Sydney as well as University of Adelaide have a different scholarship for Indian students particularly. And if you look at US universities, most of the universities which offer architecture, they give scholarships basis your portfolio. So if you look at California School of Arts, if you look at Parsons, if you look at all the major institutions like Washington University, etc., everybody has scholarships based on portfolio as well. So you graduated in 2023, right?
2022.
22. So you must have been working these this last 12 months.
Yeah, yeah.
So during your working, I am sure that you would have handled several projects in which you have made several sketches, both, hand sketches as well as computer-made sketches, right?
Yeah, I have a portfolio actually.
Wonderful.
I made like a mixed portfolio of like my 3 year degree and of the work I did as in my internship.
Okay, great. So there are particular, things mentioned about the portfolio from each of the university. So when we decide about universities or when we make a list of it, uh, the way I work is that I give you a set of, say, 10 or 15 odd universities from across the world. I give you the QS rankings. I give you the content in terms of the course. And I also give you the specifications in terms of the portfolio. So you'll have to check whether or not your portfolio is maintaining all those particular, items, right? So that is one. Because it is a master's course. Frankly, I am not from an architecture background. So it would be very difficult for me to understand whether or not you're filling up all the requirements. Had it been an undergraduate course, we can still, understand, but in a master's course, the case is very different. So you'll have to understand the requirements on your own very nicely, and you'll have to adhere to it. We will be able to help you among, I must say that around about 70-75% understanding we do also have, but still you will have to gather most of the information. Rest, filling up of all the forms, helping you with the essays, editing all the essays, applying for scholarships, and managing the portals is our job. And if we get a couple of offers, then helping you decide that which offer to take is also a prerogative that we will take. Finally, the visa is something which is non-mandatory in our package. And that means it is optional. You might opt for your regular, uh, person who does your visa, or you might ask us to do your visa as well. So that is how we operate. So we work from bottom to top. That means right from searching the universities till getting you the visa, we complete all the jobs. Ma'am, if you have anything in your mind, you can go
Yeah,
ahead.
I have several questions. First thing is, what will be your charges for doing this work?
Oh, I thought this would be the last question.
No, this should be the first question.
Okay, so charges are minimal, ma'am. We charge 60,000 rupees in Indian currency for applying to 5 universities of your choice.
Okay, 60,000. Okay. Can you help me in concluding the fact ki whether she should apply to USA or Australia is a better option? Being a girl child, as you asked her, ki she would like to settle down there or not. So presently, so it is not possible for either for me, in fact, as a parent, ki I can say this because it will depend upon her future life partner. So in that situation, do you advise me that she should apply to USA also?
Ma'am, priority choice should be given to Australia because of two reasons. One, the real estate market in Australia is doing exceedingly well. It's a growing country. They will require a lot of architects in the near future. Plus, also, they are working very hard on sustainability factors. So, when you look at sustainability, their architecture is one of the biggest factors, in fact, right? So, that is one part. US, surely because of the enigma of the US universities. Okay, I said US, frankly. Uh, if you look at the US universities, the oldest and the most daunting universities in the world would be present there. Obviously, it has its own enigma and it has its own outcome after the course. But if your objective is still not uh, finalized and you would like to keep it open, then Australia should be given utmost priority. You may or may not apply to US even. Okay.
Okay.
If you get a very handsome scholarship at a top-notch university in US, then it makes sense. Okay.
वहां कितना मिल जाता होगा मैक्सिमम जो
मैम
स्कॉलरशिप है यूएस में?
मैक्सिमम बहुत अच्छा मिल जाता है क्योंकि आपका कोर्स जो है ना वो आर्किटेक्चर है। तो इसमें यूं भी हो सकता है कि अप टू $60,000 $70,000 तक जा सकता
और वहां का वैसे कितना है पोर्टफोलियो फीस का फीस स्ट्रक्चर कितना रहता
है।
है?
मैम देखो, आप मानकर चलो 1 से 1.25 करोड़ तो बेयर मिनिमम खर्चा होगा ही होगा।
2 years और 1 year?
2 ईयर कोर्स होगा मैम।
2 years मतलब आफ्टर स्कॉलरशिप?
आफ्टर स्कॉलरशिप आप उसमें लगा लो, मतलब 60,000 इंटू 81, मतलब इतना आपका तो कम हो जाएगा, मतलब 50 लाख के आसपास आपने नीचे
एक
कर
तब
दिया
हो
आप उसको।
जाएगा, एक तब भी हो जाएगा। फ्यूचर जॉब प्रोस्पेक्ट्स कहाँ पे बेटर है?
मैम इस वक्त ऑस्ट्रेलिया सबसे ज्यादा बेटर है।
चलिए, अब मुझे ये बताइए सर कि अगर ऑस्ट्रेलिया में यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ एडिलेड, यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ सिडनी, यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ मोनाश, यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ साउथ वेल्स, आई थिंक एक वो भी है वहां पर, इन चारों में से 1 2 3 4 रैंकिंग करनी हो, keeping in mind not only the ranking of the university but keeping in mind the size of fee structure also, कि कौन सी यूनिवर्सिटी को प्रायोरिटी देनी चाहिए?
देखिए, अगर अभी जो मैंने आपको शीट दिखाया था मैं आपको दोबारा दिखाता हूँ, आपको थोड़ी आसानी होगी इसमें। देखिए, अगर आप फीस में देख रहे हैं ना मैम, तो लगभग सभी का फीस ऑलमोस्ट सेम है।
ऑलमोस्ट
लेकिन
सेम।
जब आप कॉस्ट ऑफ अटेंडेंस देखते हैं, जिसका मतलब होता है ट्यूशन प्लस लिविंग, ठीक है, वहां पर ना थोड़ा सा फर्क आ जाता है जब आप यूटीएस सिडनी देखते हैं। ठीक है, बिकॉज सिडनी ऑब्वियसली मैम कॉस्ट ऑफ लिविंग इज अ लिटिल हायर, एडिलेड में कॉस्ट ऑफ लिविंग थोड़ा सा कम है। ठीक है,
ओके।
तो मोनाश इज एट द टॉप मोस्ट इन टर्म्स ऑफ टोटल खर्चा, बिकॉज उसकी फीस ही $47,500 ऑस्ट्रेलियन डॉलर्स है, विच इज द हाईएस्ट अमंग्स द रेस्ट ऑफ देम। बट रैंकिंग वाइज अगर देखा जाए, तो यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ सिडनी रैंक्स एट नंबर 1 इन आवर लिस्ट एज ऑफ नाउ, बिकॉज 31st रैंक पे है फॉर आर्किटेक्चर। फीस इज लोएस्ट एट $44,000। ओके, देन कम्स यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ एडिलेड एंड देन कम्स यूटीएस सिडनी।
यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ एडिलेड में आपने रैंकिंग नहीं लिखी हुई?
मैम यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ एडिलेड में अभी रैंकिंग मैंने ये बेसिक सर्च करा हुआ था, बट आई थिंक यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ एडिलेड का रैंकिंग भी बहुत बुरा नहीं होगा. जस्ट गिव मी अ मिनट, आई विल टेल यू व्हाट विल बी द रैंकिंग. Yeah, it is 106, 101 to 150 again, ma'am.
ओके फाइन.
101 to 150. 89
Does it
उसकी ओवरऑल स्कोर है, लेकिन 101 to 150 फॉर आर्किटेक्ट.
does it make any difference in the future profile of the student from which university they have passed out?
Because if you're in Australia, you need to be in the top 8 of the universities in Australia. The universities that you're looking at are those. Okay, so the top 8 includes University of Melbourne, Australia National University, University of Monash, Queensland University of Technology, University of Sydney, University of Adelaide, and University of Western Australia. ये
Okay.
8 में से ही आपकी यूनिवर्सिटीज हो तो ज्यादा अच्छा है.
Okay.
इसके अलावा जो यूनिवर्सिटीज अच्छी हैं, दैट इंक्लूड्स यूटीएस सिडनी एंड आरएमआईटी.
RMIT. Okay.
आरएमआईटी, रॉयल मेलबर्न इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी.
ठीक है. ये यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ सिडनी और एडिलेड में आप बता रहे थे कि आर्किटेक्चर के कोई अलग से स्कॉलरशिप भी आती है.
नहीं मैम, नॉट फॉर आर्किटेक्चर, फॉर इंडियन स्टूडेंट्स per
इंडियन
se.
स्टूडेंट्स भी है.
For
अच्छा.
Indian students per se, they have a scholarship settled differently, where they offer funds only to Indian students.
वो कैसे होता है?
मैम वो एप्लीकेशन पर है, आपको सेपरेटली कुछ नहीं करना है. बट इफ यू होल्ड एन इंडियन पासपोर्ट, दे विल जज यू फॉर दैट स्कॉलरशिप. सो रेस्ट ऑफ द इंडियंस जो अप्लाई कर रहे हैं उस कोर्स में, उसके साथ आपका मुकाबला है. तो वो देखते हैं कि आप उनके टर्म्स पे, कि आप उनसे कितने ऊपर या कितने नीचे हो.
तो
अगर
इसमें
आप
कितनी
एकदम
मिल
ऊपर
जाती
वाले
है?
लॉट में हो तो फिर स्कॉलरशिप आ जाएगी.
कितनी मिल जाती होगी जी इसमें स्कॉलरशिप?
मैम अप टू $30,000 तक भी जा सकता है. 30,000 ऑस्ट्रेलियन डॉलर्स.
ओके. इसमें आप लोगों की कोई यूनिवर्सिटी के साथ भी अंडरस्टैंडिंग होती है टू गेट द स्कॉलरशिप?
नहीं मैम.
नहीं, ये बच्चे के अपने पोर्टफोलियो और अपनी
हाँ जी.
रैंकिंग अपने हार्डवर्क के ऊपर
जी
होगा कि
जी
उसको जो
जी.
मिलेगी. ओके. ठीक है. तो इसमें आपने यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ साउथ वेल्स और यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ मेलबर्न का डाटा नहीं डाला हुआ?
मैम मैंने अभी सब कुछ नहीं डाला है.
कुछ नहीं डाला है.
ठीक है, तो
तो
व्हेन वी स्टार्ट वर्किंग वी विल गिव यू राउंड अबाउट 10-15 यूनिवर्सिटीज
ठीक है.
inclusive in Australia, or if there are any other choices
हाँ,
beyond
यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ
Australia.
क्वींसलैंड है, यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ साउथ वेल्स है,
हम्म.
यूनिवर्सिटी मेलबर्न है.
बहुत
एंड
सारी यूनिवर्सिटी.
टेक फ्यू यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ यूएस ऑल्सो. तो आप मुझे एक समरी का चार्ट, जैसे आपने भी 5 का बनाया है, ऐसे आप सर एक 5 से 10 यूनिवर्सिटीज का और मुझे दीजिए, ताकि मेरे लिए ना ये भी देखना है कि कितना पॉकेट फ्रेंडली होगा मेरे लिए बच्चे को भेजना. ठीक है.
मैम वो ना मैं तब कर पाऊंगा जब आप अपनी तरफ से ग्रीन सिग्नल दे देंगे दैट वी आर गोइंग अहेड. फिर मैं बैठ के ये
ओके.
सारा रिसर्च करूंगा. इनकी मुझे
ओके.
मार्कशीट्स वगैरह चाहिए होंगी अपनी. आई वुड
ओके.
नीड योर ट्रांसक्रिप्ट, and I would also need your resume and the portfolio that you've created. So once we have had a look over all of these things, then we start making a list of universities, because there is one factor that was missing in that list that you saw. It is acceptability. That
एक्सेप्टेबिलिटी का है?
acceptability मतलब कि किस यूनिवर्सिटी में हमारे चांसेस कितने हैं.
ओके.
ये भी जज करना पड़ेगा ना.
ओके.
तो वो जजमेंट तभी हो पाएगा जब मार्कशीट्स मेरे हाथ. So that means that process has to start. Once the process starts, the first thing is to give you the list of universities. Then all of us, we sit together and finalize the 5 set of universities that we are going to finally apply. Then begins the documentation and the essay writing.
Fine. And all this exercise is for July or September intake.
So ma'am, they do not have a September intake. They only have 2 intakes, which is February and July. Right now, what I'm looking at is the July intake.
Okay, February intake is not possible.
February intake, ma'am, we are already in the month of January. So this is impossible because you will send your application, they will assess, you will get your results back, then you'll have to file the visa as well, right? So Feb we cannot, do it. And also remember that many of the universities, they do not take international students for February. Okay, so
But why?
July, they have restrictions. They keep it open only for Australian citizens.
Okay.
Okay, but most universities are open for both the batches. Few of the universities have restrictions, but July seems to be the best batch possible because highest number of applications and most universities for all of their courses are open for July batch.
Fine, fine. ठीक है. Thank you, Ritesh ji. Thank you so much. And after discussing with Avni, I will again come back to you.
Sure, and I will ask Himanshu to send you an email stating all our services in written with financials, etc. You can have a look at that while you are discussing. It will make things a little easier.
Sure.
Thank
Thank you. Good evening.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye, Avni.
Bye.
Have a great day. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.